Welcome to the Valmark Back Office Heroes video podcast series. I'm Geoff Moore, Chief Information Officer for the Valmark Financial Group. And with me today is longtime Valmark employee, Julie Pemberton. Welcome, Julie.
Welcome.
So I thought we'd start off with some kind of fun facts about you, get to know you a little bit better, and then dive into your title and role and talk a little bit more specifically about the work you do at Valmark. So I think one of the things that's interesting about you, at least that I know about you personally, is that you do a lot of volunteering. Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the volunteering you've done kind of on your own and in conjunction with Valmark?
Yeah, definitely. Kind of got into it with my dad. For like 40 years, my dad ran the church bingo. That actually helped build the Catholic school that I went to when I was little. So I used to help prepare meals and help set up for the bingo. So he kind of got me involved with starting to do some volunteer work. And then once I started here at Valmark, and even at previous firms, we did like Christmas donation drives. But when I started here I've been here 19 years, and I think 18 years of it, we've been doing some kind of either through Salvation Army for the first couple of years, and then we kind of moved on to the Haven Arrest, which I've gotten pretty involved in.
So for those of us that aren't in the Akron area, that is the large homeless shelter in the Akron area.
It's a faith-based homeless shelter. They take no federal funding, so it's very all donation-based. So they serve meals. They have a residential men's program to get people in off the streets, kind of. It's not like a handout. It's more of a hand up.
Yeah.
They have the Harvest Home that's works with women and children. So once a month, people from Valmark go down there and help do set up and serve. It's like the first Thursday of every month. We go down there and do set up and serve for one of the dinners. We also work with them at Easter time to do an Easter Totes program where they give out personal care items that you wouldn't think about, just everyday items that people go without. And then we do a big Christmas push with the employees where we get the toys, and then we get to go out and shop with a Valmark matching donation. This year we were able to provide 812 toys for their Happy Birthday Jesus party, which was our biggest year ever, which was awesome.
It's kind of bananas, because I know you use our kind of like common space, like we call it our flex area. It's a common space. And if you walk in while you're setting up, I mean, there are toys
everywhere.
Yep. And I know I had to come in for some IT maintenance over that weekend where you were buying all the toys, and I just saw you kept coming back and forth, and it was just more and more and more toys. But which is awesome, because a lot of those kids, they might not have the opportunity to get anything. Right. And so between you and your efforts and other employees and getting them interested and donation from Valmark, we've really been able to make a pretty big impact.
Yeah, definitely.
Along with like the weekly opportunity to serve that you and Co-Wayne help lead together.
Yeah, it's a really good organization. It's probably one of my favorite charities to work with around here. And I'm also on the Global Gift Fund Committee. So I get to review some of the charities that our member offices turn in and get to talk to them about it and see, what their passions are for those charities. So,
that's interesting, because I don't think we've talked about that in a lot of these other interviews. The Global Gift Fund is a big part of Valmark. We give 10% of our profits to the Global Gift Fund every year, and then we take in suggestions from member offices that are already doing charitable works, and we complement what they're doing through the Global Gift Fund. Actually, do you want to take a moment just to explain in that a little bit more detail? Because I think that is an interesting part of Valmark that is quite different.
Yeah, so like you said, it's 10% of our profits that go into that, and we do have a committee. Member offices are able to sponsor a charity and have them submit a request up to $10,000. And then we have the committee members will review those charities. We all kind of get together and talk about the different charities, and then we reach out to the offices to let them know, hey, this is, we talk to the offices. Each of us kind of are tasked to reach out to the member office,
understand a little bit more about what they're doing.
kind of understand how they're involved with that charity, kind of give them the chance to tell us about the charity and, where the passion lies with that charity. And it's it's a really fun experience.
What
I
if-
love doing that on an annual basis.
Yeah, it's probably hard to do, but if you could pick one to like highlight, or you've found really interesting the impact that the office and Valmark through the Global Gift Fund have been able to impact, like what's the one that you'd say, that was really interesting. It's got a special place in your heart.
There's just so many of them to choose from. Obviously, the Haven Arrest is one of them, but
Yeah.
what I really like to see is I've worked with a couple of the member offices that have started their own Global Gift Fund.
Okay.
And it's nice to see the impact that we've had with their office, and they've
Okay.
started their own fund, and seeing, they'll usually, sometimes they'll put that in as their request and kind of match those funds. And we get to see what they've been able to achieve on a yearly basis. They usually will submit that kind of stuff back to us to say, hey, this is what we were able to do with it, which is really awesome to see. It's kind of like a domino effect. It's kind of going around in circles,
Awesome. Definitely. Really cool. I'm glad you were able to share that with us. Okay. So switching gears. So we got to know Julie a little bit better, personal Julie. So let's talk a little bit about kind of Julie Pemberton, life of Valmark. Now you've been here a long time. You've had a couple of different roles. Maybe explain a little bit on your current role and maybe some of the different things you've done while you've been here.
Yeah, I just celebrated my 19-year anniversary with Valmark. Been in the industry probably a little over 25 years, only with 3 different firms. So, but obviously my tenure has been here. I did start off in licensing, but right now I'm the compliance team lead. So I work with the member offices. I go out, do their audits, do a lot of training with the offices, review their advertising, correspondence, those kind of things.
Yeah,
So.
I do think though that a lot of times when people think of compliance, they think of the Department of No.
And we're not.
And I know you pride yourself in not being the Department of No. So do you have a story you can tell us a little bit like how you work with offices and how you're different than just creating blanket rules? Because I know some larger organizations, it's very hard for them to have any sort of exceptions or deadlines. They're managing so many people that they have to, be very rigid and have rules that maybe doesn't make sense to apply to everybody. But
Well, I think with us, we try to, we know the rules and the regulations, and we know we must maintain and stay within those. But we look, maybe it's not something, we'll work with the member offices. Like I just had somebody reach out to me today to say, hey, we're looking at using this new marketing vendor. What are your thoughts on it? I had a conversation with them last week on it. And now we're going to sit down with that office, and we're going to probably schedule a call and kind of talk to the vendor and just make sure that we have ways to, if they're sending emails out, that we can get everything connected with Smarsh. So we're going to take our time and sort through that so we can get it into a compliant fashion for the office. So we don't want it to be a no. We want to figure out what can we do to get it to fit into those guidelines.
Yeah, that makes sense. So figuring out, still being compliant with whatever that solution is, but giving them some flexibility to run their business the way they want to run it.
Correct. Yeah, definitely.
So Julie, you've been at Valmark a long time. You just said coming up on 19 years.
It was 19 years at the end of October, so I've just entered my 20th year.
Oh, you've just started your 20th. Holy smokes. So so if you could say like why you've been at Valmark and why you continue to stay every year, like what keeps you here?
Well, it's the culture.
Culture, okay.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I feel like it's like family. It's hard to leave your family.
It is. It can be. Depends on the family.
Depends on the family. This is true.
But maybe this family is hard. So why would you say it's hard to leave this family?
I don't know. I just I feel like I've gotten to know a lot of the member offices pretty well in my different roles. I started out in licensing, so I really worked a lot with the offices and the administrative folks in the offices when I was in licensing. And compliance too, but even then when I was on Cheryl's team on the events side.
Events, yeah, a short tour of duty through events.
Yeah, short tour of duty, but I felt like it was kind of a pivotal moment because I really got to get to know the member offices.
Yeah.
I got to be face to face with them more. I mean, I get to go out there when I'm auditing them.
Right.
But,
So I think what you're saying, though, is really interesting because sometimes we think about culture in the office or with our fellow employees, but what you're really talking about is much broader. You're talking about culture with our customers and that we've done we've been pretty selective, right? Bringing people that we want to work with. And so it's interesting to me that when you think of culture, you're not thinking of fellow employees, you're actually thinking of our customers and clients and advisors.
I think as holistically, I think
Yeah.
it's also the staff here,
Yeah.
the employees here, but I think it's all one big team.
Yeah.
So
Julie, thank you for spending some time out of your day with us today. This was the Valmark video podcast series on the Back Office Heroes with Julie Pemberton. I'm Geoff Moore, Chief Information Officer for the Valmark Financial Group. Stay safe.